Welcome to Turn to Your Neighbor. This is the Christian Talk Show where we talk about the church, music, movies, social media, and a whole lot more. My name is Cliff. This is Dr. T.
Hey, neighbors.
And this is Big Dre.
What up, neighbor?
That was a strong one.
That was. Can we all get? Can we get like one?
Okay, there you go.
There you go. Bam. There it is.
Oh.
How we doing, everybody?
We in here.
Yo, your cut is fresh though. That lineup is fresh though. I see you, sis.
Okay, can I just say this though?
Okay.
Real quick. Here we go, Cliff.
Okay.
Because I wasn't here last week, so I have some pent up energy. Look.
Okay.
I am learning small town Black barbershop politics.
Okay.
Because I live in a small town and I now go to a Black barbershop, right?
You did something. What did you do?
Okay. Here's the crazy
you really did do something.
I didn't do anything, but something happened that made me nervous because this would never happen at a beauty salon. So I had this guy that I've been going to basically since I got my haircut. And no complaints, decent job. I make my appointments online. I go to make my most recent appointment online. Made it no problem. Like 2 days before my appointment, I got this notice like your appointment has been, disappeared. Like your appointment has been canceled.
Okay.
And I was like, okay. So I go back online to book my appointment. He's not even listed as a staff member of the barbershop anymore. Like his name, you can't book with him at all. So I book with someone else. Go in. His whole booth is just like wiped out, like he never existed. It freaked me out. Nobody said anything. And so I didn't ask. And guess what?
What?
I like the new barber even better.
Okay.
Should I ask about what happened to him?
Nope.
Okay, I didn't think I should ask. I was like, if they want me to know, they'll tell me. But I did not ask.
They'll tell you. If you ask, they'll tell you. Like you be like, what happened to my man Corey? And they'll be like, yo, man, Corey, he ain't pay his chair rent or something like that. They'll tell you.
I have a feeling it was some mess though. Because when I say his stuff was, not a picture, not a clipper, like nobody was ever there. I mean, the booth is just vacant.
I really need to talk. I really need to talk to you about this now. Now I actually need to know what you're.
Now you're invested, right?
No. Me and you're gonna talk after this. This is TTYN. This is after dark. Because I gotta know who did what happened. Now I need to know names. I need to know.
And one of the other neighbors goes to this barber too.
I can't believe y'all don't ask
because I referred this neighbor.
I now I gotta know.
This other neighbor, I just let me know if you still want to go to that barbershop because it's another barber in there who hooked me up. He took his time. I was like, I was being deprived. I was going to the wrong barber in the shop the whole time. So anyway, but now I'm very concerned.
Finding the right barber.
This dude has a young kid. Like, I'm like, what happened to him?
At least we get this out the way early with this.
I'm here. Can you hear me?
Yeah.
Okay.
Cliff,
can you hear us?
I can hear y'all. It pauses like that every show. But now we get out the way early.
Okay.
We get out the way early now. It usually does like mid-show.
They said the barbershop has a don't ask, don't tell policy. That's what I gathered.
No. I don't know, bro. I can tell you, like the barber I take my kids to, when we first started, it was the guy who owns the place and he had one other woman who cuts.
Right.
And so one day we go in there and the woman is not there anymore. And while he was cutting Lincoln's hair, I was like, man, what happened to your girl Keisha? And he was like, man, she ain't want to work. She would show up late and do all the other stuff. I'm like, all right.
See, it depends.
I love it.
It depends. See, she said small town barbershop. You are in a more urban area than where we are.
Options.
There are more options.
I'm in a suburb. It's more options, definitely. It's more definitely.
But around here, you probably gonna know somebody that know what happened. Like, oh, let me tell you what really happened. And so you gotta be careful.
It's a shame. You look on Keisha's Instagram, she could cut. Like you see, she could cut. It's a shame.
She's putting cuts up.
Oh, too bad homegirl ain't want to work or show up on time. He said she was unprofessional. That's the word he used.
Oh boy, see, and that's the thing. If you get a real messy answer, what are you gonna do with that information, Dr. T? Like, how are you gonna handle that? Because if you see that,
slurp it up. And tell the other neighbor who also goes to this barber.
I promise you, somebody in that barbershop will tell you what happened. I promise you, one of them barbers will.
But isn't it weird that they didn't say anything? Here's the thing: if this ever happened in a black salon, they would be like, "Girl, I'm just letting you know." Or if they're real professional, they might be like, "Hi, Mrs. Townsend, we just wanted to let you know
because
someone else can service you, but your regular person is no longer affiliated with the salon." So nobody. I'm like, why didn't anybody say anything?
It's because you were expecting a concierge. Like there's no one person, there's no booker who does the bookings for everybody. Like the barbershop is kind of like every man for himself. And so the guy who used to cut you, who knows how long he's been gone?
Yo,
he's only been gone. No, listen, this is last week. I had an appointment for last Tuesday. My appointment was canceled Sunday. And I was like, oh my gosh, I have to get my hair cut. So I have to book with someone else, which I already felt nervous about because I was like, what if it's a mistake? And I go in here and he is there. And, then I'm going to, so I got frantic. I kept double checking the website. I'm like, I can't find him. He's not there. But then went there, whole station wiped out.
Yo, let me address something real quick. Go ahead. This is lies. This is cap. There's absolutely 110% gossip at the barbershop.
Yeah.
There's 110% gossip at the barbershop. We just do it loud and with more bass, and we don't call it gossip. We just call it talking ish. Yeah. There's 110% gossip at the barbershop.
I have never been to a barbershop where if you ask what happened to XYZ barber, they will tell you. They will tell you. It's just how you ask about
weird that nobody
like, what happened to my man? What happened to my man Tyrone? What happened to my man? What's his name?
You got me texting people offline on the phone right now. I'm asking folks. I'm like, what is happening?
I'm interested. I want to know too. But in the meantime, I'll be going back to the other.
See, you got me texting other neighbors who are looking on the same app that you book your stuff on. We out here looking on apps. We out here being private.
We can talk about
it's a small town. It's not hard.
Here's all I need. Don't say anything messy in my comments, please. That's all I need to not be associated with right now. Because somebody gonna find out and put something messy because our neighbors are messy. Oh my goodness. Yep. I love this right here. I love the way Chris breaks something down and adds something deep to it. Yep, there's absolute gossip in the barbershop and a whole bunch of informal economic activity.
Exactly.
Yep. Somebody come in there with some extra to sell, a plate or two, or some other stuff, whatever you need, you might be able to catch it at the barbershop.
But I think that happens mostly in black towns.
Right.
That don't happen at this barbershop. It's just like
you've had people try to sell something before.
I've never seen, unless it's real informal, in which case I would not be offered said thing. But said product, they would ascertain that I'm not a part of their target
audience.
But like people selling like DVD. Well, I guess people don't watch DVDs anymore. But like cake, different food stuff, incense. I'm used to that kind of stuff being sold. Nobody has tried to sell me anything.
Gossip and conspiracies, conspiracies at the barbershop. 100%. Oh man.
Yeah, see, this is great. This is culture shock to you, but this has been the norm for a lot of us forever.
Yo, this is 100% great.
I just want to know why nobody said anything. That's weird. I don't like when that happens.
It depends on how it happened. I have heard of there was
see, that's the thing. If in a beauty salon, if you come in, they know, they pay attention to who you normally go to and all this other kind of stuff. So they would
everybody, it's only 3 barbers in there. They all know who
You telling too much information.
But
now I know who to show.
In the barbershop, we don't care. They don't care unless
now
you
I know
ask.
who to look for.
That's what I'm saying. Women freely give out information. Men, you got to ask. It will tell you, but you got to ask.
Right.
Okay.
Yeah.
Plus, it depends.
Okay. So that's the etiquette. Yeah. That's the norm. Now I've learned the norm.
If you want,
so now that it's been the next time I go in there, Cliff is saying I can ask.
You can
Dre's
ask.
vote is that I can't ask.
It was depending. If you said there's 3 people, it's more because if it's just 2, that's more like a partnership, and something could have gone sideways in there.
This was there's 2 people left.
Oh, okay.
Yes.
And here's the thing. You can ask, but it also depends on what happened. Because there have been barbershops up here in which they did not want to leave, but the state said they had to go. Seriously.
I believe
it. I would be surprised if that was the thing. If it was something like that. I just want to be surprised.
You about to ask, hey, my man had to do some time, or it's crazy what happened. They just came in here, they busted in, and my man just had to go.
It's all kinds of stories, man.
No, like there was. Never mind, we ain't gonna get that on the air.
I believe it.
But people come to the. I'm about to say too much. People come to this small town and think they all the way out the way. It's only a couple hours drive
to DC.
And people
in Philly,
and they think they low down here, so they start doing stuff, and they don't realize these police got nothing but time on their hands. And they will figure it out quickly.
Y'all active on social media and stuff.
Yo, and just doing stuff. I'm like, player, they're watching you. And then when they come get 12 of y'all instead of 2, you were caught up in a conspiracy to commit whatever. But let's keep moving. This was not on the docket.
This is not on the agenda.
Welcome to barbershop life.
Ooh, yeah.
It's been interesting. It's been very entertaining.
Well, here's the thing. I'm happier that you found a better cut. You know what I'm saying? Like you found what you needed in the end. As long as you treat it well and your line is crisp, who cares? You know what I'm saying?
Hello.
God bless that individual in their situation.
God bless them. Really,
we could do a whole show on barbershop issues.
What will be interesting though is if you see them walking around giant 2 days from now and your cut is crispy.
I've never seen them, this person out and about. That's the other thing. There's like a whole other slice of black.
There is
steakhouse that I am not privy to. But because I'm like, I never see them out.
And you might not see them for another 6 to 8 months, but depending upon how long it takes to get to the courts. Anyway, let's grow. I just made up a whole story that I don't know to be true.
You did.
It's all right.
All right, brother. I'm sorry.
It's all good. Hey, the neighbors seem to be enjoying it. That's fine. All right. So the first thing I want to talk about. So Kierra Sheard was in the news recently because she did an interview with Page Six, and in the interview she shares about how she has established boundaries between her new husband Jordan and her female friends. So she no longer allows her female friends to come stay at her house because she is now married. According to Kierra, that if her friends want to come to town to visit, she gets them a hotel. And she did this based on advice from her mother. Basically keep your friends away from your man. I'm paraphrasing, but that's the gist of it. Do you guys have any thoughts about this, the path that Sister Sheard is taking as it relates to her friends and her man?
What in the name of insecurity are we talking about here? These are security issues. This is a you issue.
Well, I have a theory.
This is your mama issue. This is not either that or there have been some. Never mind. You see, maybe there was some other things that had happened previously that we don't know about. That this may have been a prudent decision, but this is about security. Like, if your man is bold enough to diddle something in your house while you there, that's a whole nother level of boldness that you need to have covered during premarital counseling. Like that's a larger issue. Like,
yeah, if you're worried about this, you either don't have real friends or you married the wrong person.
Exactly.
Like one of two things is wrong with the situation. And what the article or the interview reminds me of is a lot of these like old wives tales, like, oh, don't let your man eat another woman's spaghetti and don't do all this stuff. Here's the thing, folks. People cheat
right
because they make a decision to.
a decision.
Ain't because they ate somebody else's macaroni and cheese on the third Tuesday of the month. And none of this is real. Like, you need to have conversations about what the boundaries are. But if you are worried that your spouse might get up out of the bed that you are presumably sharing with them and do something in the same house with your friends. And I have had friends stay at my house. That would have never even crossed my mind. That's ridiculous. And I also ponder what's going to happen when you go on tour, when you're filming another movie project, when you're like, how is this going to work? Is he going to have to go with you everywhere you go? I understand that he has a landscape company or something like that, which I would think localizes him. So,
silly.
What's the plan, Kiki? What's the plan, Kiki?
So here's one of the issues going on here. She got this advice from her mother. Her mother, who is married to a preacher, and any wife of a preacher will tell you. Well, I've heard many stories from wives of preachers.
Clean that up.
Many stories from wives of preachers who will say that women, and I can't speak for the other way around, so I'm just using the women, the man as a preacher in this scenario.
Right.
Women have thrown themselves in various ways at the preacher man. Mm-hmm. So she's getting this from her mother, who has a different context than the rest of us, because I'm sure her mother has probably experienced women making advances at her husband through various stages of their life, especially probably when they were a lot younger. And so her mother, having that lens, probably says, listen, this is how women act.
Right.
When you marry. So you want to keep these women away from your man.
I can see that. Plus, if that biopic was anything true to life, that whole household been shady, and they had some shady stuff happening beforehand. It wasn't exactly the strongest examples of a pillar of a marriage that we were seeing and in these relationships. And I'm sure that was probably the watered down version of what was going on. And so this whole thing, it smacks of insecurity. It actually smacks of insecurity on a couple of different levels. But I don't want to get into that one. I ain't gonna do that. Yeah, let's do it. This smacks of no, I'm good. It's insecurity. It's a couple different types of insecurity. I think it's insecurity on her part.
Possibly, mm-hmm. But I mean, I think she's, I guess in some cases, better safe than sorry.
This is ridiculous. And this is like this. This is
I don't know.
It's what Donna said. Generational trauma. Okay. Like, this is not, regardless of what may or may not have happened with her father, allegedly, capital A, allegedly, I don't know. And I do go to Detroit occasionally. So I just want to say, allegedly.
Stay clear of this.
Allegedly, there's rumors.
The thing is, that has nothing to do with who may or may not have been chilling at the house. Like, if you have shady friends, let's even get off of them. Let's use the soul food example. That was bound to happen because you had two shady people who desired each other and they made a choice. It has nothing to do with, oh, my friend if you are genuinely concerned that your friend might throw themselves at your man, you need new friends.
But sometimes it's not even throw themselves. It's just sometimes it's doing questionable things.
Can I
go ahead?
I'm gonna put this one up here because this actually seems more likely to me. Mac, Backstory: her husband was diagnosed with wandering
Whose
peen
husband?
disease.
Which husband? Are you
Kierra's.
talking about Kierra's husband? we don't know.
Hey man, is she more likely to be player?
We don't know.
I'm gonna put this out there without any fact finding at all. I done known a lot of true players in my life, and I can pick up on the spirit of an old player when I see one.
You said my man brother Kelly is a player.
I know players when I see players. I know he may have been a reform pimp, but I know him when I see him player.
All I'm saying,
I'm just saying, it may not be her. It may not be the friends. It may be him. Maybe she's trying to protect. I don't know.
It sounds like she's doing a little preventative maintenance. You know, like you take your car to get checked out. Nothing's wrong, but you preventative maintenance. That's what this is. Preventative maintenance for the marriage.
Yo, this is Chris. Chris Telsel's a nut today. I've never looked at dance studios the same after Soul Food. If you don't know what Soul Food the movie is, in order to truly get that you're gonna have to be old enough to go see it. But yes,
but I mean, so her mother probably passed down this way of thinking from a previous generation. So she's passing down that way of thinking to her daughter.
That's just not how I just think that's not generally how we do things anymore. You know, these days people travel together, especially because you might you're more likely to live apart from your friends. I live I have obviously friends here, but I basically moved. At one point I was moving every year. So people had to come see me. And if they came to see me, they stayed with us. Like, that's just how
it's not like she's not letting them come. You could come, you could hang out in my house, but you spending the night in a hotel.
So for those of us who don't have recording artist coins,
she's just saying what works for her house. She's not saying this is what women should do. She's just saying this is what she does.
But she was saying this is a general principle. Like, you shouldn't let this is something that should never happen. I just think that's ridiculous. That's not, I don't think that's in line with the current times.
Hey, I agree
with but someone from a time previous would say this is why y'all's divorce rate is higher than it was when we was coming.
Oh, please.
Cliff, don't start that trash. I'm about to say, don't start that trash.
I'm just saying.
People just
it don't add up. Thank you, Richard Bullock. It don't add up. We adults, Christian adults, act accordingly. I've had my wife's friends stay in the house before. It was no issue, no problems.
It was no issue either. But if one of your wife, let's say one of your wife's friends came out in some
don't put me in no examples. Don't put me in no examples. Back this all the way up. Nope. Don't put me
with that fly.
Won't put me in no examples.
I'm just saying.
Nope.
To any brother in here, if your wife's friend came out, went into the room to change, and came out the room with some questionable evening wear.
What type of movie is this? Like,
this is reality.
What in the Tyler Perry?
Yeah, exactly.
I'm just saying.
Here's the problem.
This is the reality.
That means you have people who don't know right. That means
your life is a Tyler Perry movie.
Exactly.
And you need a plot twist immediately.
And so she needs to make better choices. She needs to She needs to make better choices than friends. But hey, I hope it works out for her. Somebody call him Angry Ray J. Yo, why are we gonna leave this man alone?
All right, we're gonna move on. So I want y'all to take a look at this one church. A couple weeks ago, we talked about how Harry Potter was demonic and all this other kind of stuff. Y'all remember that? A couple of shows ago, we talked about that. So this one church, Greg Locke, who we talked about before, and he had a church in Tennessee. They had a book burning bonfire. So in this bonfire, they burned Harry Potter books and other occult, what they called occult-like material.
I would love to know what the other stuff was.
They didn't really say in the article I read. I did mention Harry Potter and some other occult-like things. So as you can see, they're just throwing all kinds of stuff in there. So they had a bonfire. The bonfire was legal. They had a permit to do it. And they did have safety people on site, but yeah.
Thank you.
Just so you know, because I know
it was permitted.
It was permitted, so it was permitted, but they had a they had a bonfire to burn away the evil spirits
As
of the occult.
as I'm looking around this crowd, the demographics indicate that there are a couple copies of the 1619 project in that bonfire as well. That's the
Right.
that's the type of
Right.
crowd we're dealing with right
Yeah.
here. And
Yeah.
so, yeah, God bless
Yeah,
them.
yeah.
Here was always my question about that, right?
Okay.
Unless you stole the book and didn't pay for it, you're just wasting your money at that point because the publisher and
The
the
sister has a.
author.
She just threw a clock. I'm sorry. She just threw a clock in. Did you see
I'm
that?
very confused.
I'm just.
She
What?
didn't get the right text message. She thought that this was about releasing yourself from your
Yes.
old baggage.
I didn't know
So
there was
she
a. It
brought
was
the
a.
family
I didn't know there
clock.
was a clock. I don't know.
Yo,
I'm
man.
sorry. Go ahead.
She thought
She
this
just
was.
went to
She thought,
burn stuff.
she thought this was the bulk trash. That's what she thought. She thought it was the bulk
There you
trash.
go.
She's been trying to get rid of this clock for 3 weeks now. They just throwing random stuff in here. Yo,
Here's
this is
the
wild.
thing. That's why you read Harry Potter on your Kindle. But but no, I think this is all social media age inspired. Everybody's trying to make a splash. Everybody's trying to have their spit gate. Everybody's trying to become a hashtag, a trending topic.
I don't know what that was. That demonic bookcase.
Yo, bruh.
So yeah, I'm not sure what all is happening here, but all I know is, so wait, does this fire just go out or do they put it out?
They put it out. I'm assuming they put it out.
Okay.
Nah, look at this audience player. No, there's at least
That's a really big fire.
There's at least 3
bonfire.
crosses somewhere there as well, too. Yeah, player.
I would not have gone. Had I been invited, I would not have gone. Yeah.
This is at such and such church. You mean that one out by the? No, I'm good. Ain't got nothing to do with Jesus.
Let me know so that I can stay as far away as possible.
Do you see
this
any
is
melanin out there?
Nah, see, black people don't do mobs and fire.
Yeah.
In the woods. We don't do that.
Not in the woods. Yo, people talking about keep talking about I hope someone brought marshmallows. That's hilarious.
All right, so I just wanted to mention that we can move on. I want to give a shout out to, in honor of Black History Month, to Vicky Mac Ladderley. For those who don't know, this sister is she created Gospel Centric Records, which was a powerhouse gospel label back in the day. And she created the label in '93. And let me read to you some of the artists that was on this label: Byron Cage, R.J. Helton, Kurt Carr, Dorinda Clark Cole, Kirk Franklin, God's Property, Tremaine Hawkins, Dave Hollister, Jay Moss, Trinity 5-7, Papa San, New Direction. So she's like a pioneer. Billboard called this at one point the top gospel label in the country.
Yeah.
So her and her husband created together, and then they created another spinoff called Be Right Music, which some of the people I mentioned was on Be Right Music. So Gospel Centric Records was like the whatever you want to call a hot hip hop label back in the day. Gospel Centric Records was that for gospel, except without all the cool catchphrases and all that kind of stuff. They wasn't taking over for the 9-5 or whatever. No, nothing like that. But so shout out to Vicky Mac Ladderley. But what I heard, we wouldn't have a lot of the music we enjoy now.
Word.
What's interesting what Gospel Centric did is it allowed some of the more major labels who then swooped in and took off some of the bigger artists to realize that gospel can be a viable product and make money for you. And so it gave them that outlet. So shout out to Gospel Centric. Always love Gospel Centric. I used to pretend I was either wanted to be on Bad Boy or Gospel Centric, one of the two.
That is facts.
Depending on which way your life was headed.
No, I wanted to be on Bad Boy Gospel.
Yeah, especially when they did that. When Bad Boy did that gospel song, right?
Yes. I love that guy.
Like, okay.
Bad Boy. I'm sorry.
That one.
Yeah, so they also had like Natalie Wilson and SOP, Percy Beatty, R.J. Helton from American Idol. So a lot of artists came through Gospel Centric.
And let me just give a shout out to Trinity 5-7.
We gonna move on.
That's all I had to say.
Because I know what
I'm
you
done.
mean by that.
I'm
Know where
done.
that's headed, right?
Yep.
That's why we are
Anyway.
going to move on.
Now they can't stay at the house.
See, I was trying.
Help him, Lord.
I was trying.
Help him.
There's a church in Oregon, St. Timothy's Episcopal Church, and they're filing a lawsuit against the city of Brookings, Oregon, because the city created an ordinance. So this church was well known for feeding homeless people, especially after the pandemic hit. These churches, they kind of ramped up their efforts in feeding the homeless and taking care of homeless people and all that. And so the city passed the ordinance that you can only now feed homeless people twice a week. So these people out here every day feeding homeless, taking care of the needs of the people, and they passed the ordinance now that you can only feed twice a week because after neighbors near the church began complaining about public safety issues.
Such as?
I don't know. It just says public safety. So after the pandemic, other services in the area had to shut down for obvious reasons. So the church pretty much did what church is supposed to do, meet the needs of the community. So they stepped up their efforts, but now the city has passed this ordinance limiting the number of times they can feed homeless people, and so they are filing a lawsuit against the city.
This is Oregon?
This is in Oregon. This is in Brookings, Oregon.
There's a lot of questions here. I would love to know, obviously, a little bit more detail about what are they determining as a public safety issue, and what that really translates into, what that really means.
Neighbors got uncomfortable. Well, not our neighbors, but the neighbors of this church. Neighbors in this church probably got uncomfortable because you have more homeless people in the neighborhood. Yeah. More homeless people come because there's probably neighborhood church probably, or so you got more homeless people just in your area, in your space, trying to access services from the church.
If you setting up shop in my azaleas, we will have to talk about that.
And if you think about it, if you're homeless and the church is feeding every day, you probably won't venture far away from the church so you can come back to the church every day. And
it's a good point.
And eat. So that probably caused discomfort among the residents of the area.
I'm amazed at how low some people's tolerance is for anything that's like a little bit different. First of all, if your main source of food is this charity, then you got lots of things on your mind, and making other people feel comfortable ain't on the list. So my thing is relax. But I don't know. I feel some kind of way. I didn't grow up in the suburbs. I grew up in a very urban area.
Right.
And I grew up in Detroit, like in Detroit proper. And so I don't understand these suburban ways where you can like say, I don't want to even look at these people. Like, now you own all of outside. Like, and how is looking at somebody who's on hard times and who's struggling, how is that a threat to you? Like, I just don't. And the fact that something would actually be done about it boggles my mind.
Suburban people like their comfort, and if you do anything to disrupt that, they take issue with it. They like their comfort and their sense of normalcy and consistency. And if you do something to disrupt that, then they get all out of whack.
If you bring in some folks in the neighborhood that's going to make them have to lock their doors on a consistent basis, that is changing their lifestyle. Hey, player, there are people around here who don't lock their doors.
Yeah.
And so that's a whole different thing.
So Pastor Hammond said, so can my church feed twice a week? Another for church feed twice a week? Another church feed twice? There you go. They could do that. They could pair up.
I think that's a very smart,
smart idea. But I just want to let y'all know about that interesting story. All right, so now speaking of interesting, I cannot really explain what's going on here, so you will just have to see it. Um, but people just choose to do too much at funerals. Like last week, we showed these people high stepping as they were
Right.
leaving. Right. Um, this probably is something you have never seen before at any funeral. Hopefully, we'll never see again. I want y'all to look at this. The sound is coming.
Will everybody please stand?
Keep watching.
On my road, tell the story. Let's go, Sam.
So, for the audio listeners, uh, we are watching a funeral. Someone is coming in all white, a white robe, holding a pillow with something purple on the pillow. But this person is dressed supposedly dressed as an angel, and this person has anatomical wings. So these wings just open and shut. I'm not sure how. I guess the person has some kind of device, a lever of some sorts that's making these wings open and shut. But this person is wearing some type of feathery crown, walking down the center aisle, uh, flapping these fake wings that might be made out of curtains. I'm not sure. That's about that. The wings do flap. The wings do flap.
What in the name of MacGyver does he have on his back? What is
The question is
here?
this he or she, which I'm still not. Yeah,
So
they.
it's just
What do
I'm
they?
Not, I'm not really sure what this person is. A, gender
You know
identity, or
what?
B, wearing.
Black people are the most creative
Creative.
people. And you know what? Creative for no reason. We are the most extra people
Extra.
that have been ever. I don't know where it comes from. We are the most. That's just what I would call this extra. I think they have something in their hand that they're using to
Yeah, they do.
flap
Yeah.
the wing. By the way, someone spent a lot of time creating this contraption. Somebody in that building created this for them.
Somebody knows
And
the
they were like,
cosplay.
yes, this is how we're going to do it. And I'm going to, okay, what are you going to wear? Okay, so I think I'm going to wear this satin white gown. Okay, but how are we going to keep the wings attached to your back? Good question. Okay. So let's get, you know what I'm saying? Like this I have to appreciate all the thought and energy that went into this, but it's really extra for no reason.
And the question is, are both wings supposed to flap when the button is pressed, but only one is working? Or does this person have the ability to flap one at a time, or both?
The one wing is defunct.
Yeah, one didn't work.
One wing
I have
is
so
broken.
many questions. Because there's so many levels to this. What's on their head? Like, that's supposed to represent sun rays? Is that supposed to is that a crown?
Oshun realness. Oshun. Like, I'm not sure. This is
that's when
like
Big Bird becomes an angel. I don't know.
They might be mixing different religions. I forget what you
I'm about to say,
them.
I saw this during Beyonce's that one video she did. What that been?
That broke down Beyonce.
Wait. So these wings are a thing. Hold on, not to cut y'all off, but according to Donna, you can get these wings on Amazon, and people use them to cosplay.
Why does she
$40 to
know
$50.
this?
I don't know why she knows this. Maybe she looked it up. I don't know.
I don't need. That's a little too much
Like the
information.
fact that she had the information at the ready. I don't know.
At the
But
ready
wouldn't they
in the
work?
cut. Maybe
I
they
feel
use
like
them too
these
much.
look
These
like,
could be used
I don't
wings. These
know.
could be used wings.
They could be borrowed wings.
Yeah, because these not looking fresh.
What?
They're not looking Amazon.
I am
fresh.
now compelled to look on.
Is that a
Amazon for
track
wings.
that they have in their head? And then no. So it's like
It's
daffodils.
confusing. So their
And then-
hair is blonde.
Their hair is colored to match the ensemble.
Yes. That was a part of the thought. That shade. Okay, we got to keep mixing till we get this shade, and that's gonna match the wings, and that's gonna match the
I have a question.
halo.
You can. Oh boy.
Pastor, Dr. T, as a PK, you're going to be able to answer this for me a little bit better.
Okay.
Do you think this went through the approval process of the head of the house
Absolutely not.
beforehand? Do you think whoever reverend or pastor such and such knew, bishop such and such knew what was happening and what was coming down the aisle before it happened?
You know what? I don't think so, but this is, people have unmasked, most people. So this is in COVID times. The pastor's like, you know what? I give up. Do what you got to do.
There's so much going
Be
on.
out in an hour and a half. Like, do what you got to do.
Cut the check as long as the check don't bounce for the rental of their church.
Mm-hmm.
Yo,
And for the record, you can get wings very similar to those on Amazon.
so
You can get them in white and red and some kind of greenish color.
So do you think the bodice of the outfit was created just for this event, or is this something that they have? What's on their feet? But or you think this is something that they have in the tuck on a regular basis? Like this is just something they do? Is this a one-off?
No,
Oh,
this
good
was
Lord.
a special tribute
No, that's a lot of effort.
organized for this.
There's sequins on there. Somebody put those on there. Like, this is effort. Tougheted. There's a lot happening. God bless everyone. That's all I'm gonna say.
I got one more video I want to show before we get out of here. You would appreciate this, Dre, because this has to do with hygiene.
Okay.
I know how much you care
Okay.
about hygiene. So
Let's talk about it.
Pastor has an announcement for the members.
When the announcements don't go as
Praise the
expected.
Lord.
Hallelujah. Hallelujah. We have our announcements on today. Today, my apostle wanted me to let everybody know, since I'm the pastor of the church, please, no wash-ups in the bathroom, okay? Amen. Thank you. I don't know who left this, but you need to pick it up on your way out the door and take your bath at home.
Amen.
Amen. Hallelujah.
Amen.
Thank you.
Pastor don't want y'all washing up at church.
That had to be comedy. That was a joke, right?
No,
That was so
This was-
mean
this
and
was real.
unnecessary.
If you play that back, there was a little kid who shouted out somebody's specific name.
What?
Play it back. And as soon as she holds it up,
Pick it up on your way out the door and take your bath at home.
Amen.
Amen. Hallelujah.
Amen.
Thank you.
I was talking over.
When the announcements don't go as
Praise the
expected.
Lord.
Hallelujah. Hallelujah. We have our announcements on today. Today, my apostle wanted me to let everybody know, since I'm the pastor of the church, please, no wash-ups in the bathroom, okay? Amen. Thank you. I don't know who left this, but you need to pick it up on your way out the
You
door.
heard it?
And
Yep.
take it.
Somebody's name got shouted out.
Amen.
Somebody's name 100% got shouted out.
When the announcements don't go as
Praise the
expected.
Lord.
Sorry.
Because you know kids will go ahead and shout that name all the way out. Hey, man, I believe in that. You have to do what you're supposed to do at your house. You know, I'm really hoping this was comedy, because that was a bit much. That whole thing was a bit much. But I really do hope that this was comedy, man.
No, that was real, man. That was real.
Why would you? Why? Well, Actually, we used to have somebody, you know.
Okay, here we go.
Oh, I shouldn't say this.
You had somebody washing up in the church bathroom?
It wasn't washing up in the church bathroom. This was a classic overusage of the church's facilities. There used to be somebody who would cook whole meals at the church.
Just go in the kitchen and cook whole meals?
They would literally cook whole meals at the church.
Like when? Like during
They
service?
had a home. We know they had a home. When people weren't there, and then when somebody would walk in on them, and they would see them back there cooking. They would bring their own food, but they would cook the meal at the church.
But they clean. I'm assuming they cleaned up after themselves.
Not always, and that's how they kind of got busted. And so,
let me go. So
sometimes people be overusing the facilities, brother.
What in the person's mind? I have a kitchen at home. Let me go down to the church and cook this food.
I don't know. This person spent a lot of time at the church. You know how the church's doors are always open. Eventually, we had to start telling them, you can't come here all the time, because they would spend a lot of time in the sanctuary. And we were literally wondering, okay, is everything all right at home? Do they have a home? Is the gas on? Like, is everything okay? And once we confirmed everything was okay, but they were just cooking meals, and like they were cooking family meals, dog. Like after service on Sundays at their house.
Maybe because the church's kitchen was bigger and they needed the space?
I don't know, my guy.
Fitz is saying the same thing. Maybe that's why.
The church, maybe that was it. But you just can't come in here running up our gas bill.
Maybe at home, like home is electric stove. You know, some people like cooking on gas stoves better.
Gas. I don't know, my guy.
So Renee said, why this pastor should have just put a note in the bathroom and not announce over the pulpit.
This is not a pulpit issue.
Yeah.
There is levels. Thank you, Renee. There is levels. Not everything is necessarily a pulpit issue. But yeah, bro, I've seen it before.
All right. So, do you have a rant for the people?
Hey, man, I don't have a rant. Okay, this one's a slight rant.
Okay.
I know we're tired. Like a lot has. Can you hear me?
Yeah, go ahead.
I know a lot has changed through this Rona, and people are having fatigue, and they running into some things, and like they're just tired of going through certain things in life. But let me tell you this, man. I'm glad you brought this up here. This last video clip. Because hygiene should not be one of them. I've had this happen in the last couple of days, and we need to address this. We can still smell your breath through the mask. Yes, we can. I have had to have a discussion with some people. Yes, all students. And I will say, hey, you didn't brush your teeth this morning, did you? And they will be like, yeah, no, I didn't. Yeah. Oh, they'll admit it. I know what I'm talking about when I say it. I don't say it to everybody. Wow. But if I catch a waft through your mask into my mask, and I can catch that waft of the funk, we have an issue. And y'all just can't be skipping hygiene days because you think nobody gonna smell it. We can smell it. Keep it together, people. Keep it together. That's all I'm saying. Please brush your teeth. Get back into your regular brushing and flossing routines. Is something that I think is important for us. If I really quickly here, I actually had a question.
Okay.
That I needed y'all help with. So I do a lot of, sometimes counseling of the young people when working with them. I had a student who was mourning the recent passing of a mentor. And during the entire time they're in my office, they were blowing their nose and just blowing their nose repeatedly. We still during COVID times.
But this person was clearly crying, right?
Clearly crying and blowing their nose.
Uh-huh.
And during a particularly tough moment of the meeting, they asked me, Can I hold your hand? I just need some support right now. How am I supposed to react in that moment?
Just hold the person's hand and clean your hands
See,
after.
it's COVID.
Just hold the person's hand.
What am I
Trey,
supposed
you
to-
know who you sound like?
What?
The principal on Lean On Me. Like, forget his name. If I didn't know what
Bill
your
Clark?
job was,
Mr. Clark.
Principal Clark.
Mr. Clark.
If
Mr.
I
Clark.
didn't know what your job was, I would be like, what? You
What
would
are you
not think
talking
that you
about?
were dealing with like adults
Yo,
who
this
had
is a
to
real
test
thing.
into an institution. Like, this is
He's Joe Clark when he worked at the preschool.
This is a real thing.
That's complicated.
That's complicated. I'm
As
gonna let you know.
opposed to, but that's better than hugging, because
Yeah,
then
exactly.
you've got all
Right.
the germs, just all kinds of droplets.
I've hugged students before, but I've never had one ask during their moment of tears, "Can I hold your hand? I just need some support right now."
The rational neighbors are chiming in. Look,
Right,
Renee says, "Plead
Yeah.
the blood and hold the
Hold the
baby's
baby's
hand."
hand.
Exactly.
right.
Pastor Hampton, pray, hand sanitizer, hold hand, sanitize again. There you go. That's
And I'm not gonna lie, I held the hand.
Now they're doing the Lean On Me.
yeah, they doing lead on me quotes in the chat.
That's what I'm laughing at, not this situation, because I hate that a student had to go through that, but they are doing the most right now.
See, and this is what I expected. If you don't know my sister, this is the answer you're gonna get.
Donna is
If you're sad, household ain't gonna help. Ain't complicated. Go home and get a weighted blanket.
Donna
To get
is
that
so
support that you need.
Donna is so like the opposite
She's-
of the stereotypical emotional female.
You guys are in
Yeah.
two very different industries.
We are.
Right? Two
She's
very different,
She's
Donna
very
is
not.
so-
Don't touch
two
my
different
stuff.
paths.
Yes. And I was literally, I felt bad because I had watched them blow their nose repeatedly, and they were putting the snotty tissues on my desk as it was happening.
Okay,
And
so go ahead.
I held their hand. I did hold their hand.
Okay.
But as I was praying, I was asking God. I mean, as I was sitting, I was praying. I was sitting there. I was praying and asking God. I said, "God, don't let me get COVID from holding this hand, because I had just gone through COVID. I didn't want to go through it again." And so I was, and then I had. Here's the thing. Here's the key moment.
Okay.
After the moment of hand holding is over, do you immediately sanitize in front of them?
Yes. I will tell you a story about a pre-COVID thing that happened to me. When I was in grad school, I was one of those crazy grad students who thought like, oh, this is that I could never call in, have a day off. And there was
Right.
so I was getting sick all the time because I was not getting any sleep. I was eating trash, So that's what happens to you. Your immune system totally breaks down. So I was sick. I just kept catching cold after cold after cold. I went into this appointment with my dissertation advisor. She was like, "You're really sick." I started coughing, and then I couldn't control it. So then I'm like, "Oh crap!" She wiped down. She took out the huge Sam's Club size thing of Clorox wipes.
Yeah.
She wiped down everything. She was like, "Why did you come in? You should have canceled this meeting, and you need to go to the doctor." She was like, "Leave here, cancel your day, and go to the doctor." I was like, "No, I don't need to." She was like, "No, this is unnecessary." So I think that yes, it's okay to sanitize, wipe things down, and you have to remind people. We have to normalize that.
Right.
We have to normalize self-care. We get real weird about boundaries and preferences.
Right.
You get to have your boundaries, and you have to remind students of that. I do all the time, and it's perceived as, oh, Dr. T is intimidating and
It's like gangster.
whatever. Here's how things go. in this year classroom.
So for everybody that's saying no, he shouldn't have held this person's hand. What should he have done? I want to hear in the chat. Let me know what should he have done instead. Go ahead.
Right. If someone asks you, I've never had that happen before in all my years. They sit there and ask, "Can you hold my hand?" We're across the desk. There's a whole desk in between us. Nothing inappropriate, and they're literally reaching out their hand, asking you.
Yeah, you hold their hand, right? And then after you offer them some hand sanitizer, you be like, man, you don't know where I've been. Would you like some hand sanitizer?
Whoa.
You offer them some and you put some on yourself. Like you don't say you don't know where I've been, but like I think if you offer the hand sanitizer after, they understand that okay, this is COVID, so we protecting each other. Here's some hand sanitizer. You like some?
See, I just don't.
Donna said a firm pat on the shoulder.
Yo,
this person is
I don't
grieving,
touch them at all.
Upset. This person is grieving to the point where they need their hand held, and Donna's like, just pat him on the shoulder. Atta boy, atta girl.
But I feel like that's sort of part of your job description. Let's never trade.
But it was a wild.
I know exactly where to send them to too.
I'm telling you,
Doula.
I had somebody.
So you held. What did you do? You held the hand.
I held the hand.
Okay, you did the right thing.
And I literally did pray while holding. I was like, God, keep me covered, Lord.
You did the right thing.
Because I should have been praying for them probably in their moment of need, but I prayed for myself. I said, God, keep me covered. Yeah, but yeah, we made it through.
The neighbors are crazy.
Did you take a rapid test immediately as soon after that? Did you use one of your 4 tests from the government?
What's crazy is we're sitting there with masks on at the time. But it was the wildest thing in the world to me.
Does Caps give hugs? No, my therapist has never given me a hug, and I've had multiple therapists. They've never given me a hug.
For those of you in the chat on Facebook that don't know, Caps is the counseling service at Penn State.
Okay, why you gonna put the whole name out there, Flair? The whole name.
You
saw them remove the blanket from behind the scenes, brother. I had students asking me today. Somebody tried to. Don't you do a podcast? I said, that's a different part of my life. That's not for this venue right here. That's not for this venue right here. Yeah.
If you know, you know.
Yep, that's a different part of my life. Don't worry about that.
Yes, y'all not advertising, which is why we gonna get more than 20 people live at one point.
Well, we don't.
Exclusive neighborhood.
Exactly.
Gated community.
Yes, it's
not a gated community.
It's a semi-gated community. It's
not a gated community. It's a community filled with people who shame watch.
Gated
community. It's a community filled with people who shame watch and help share. That's what it is.
Cliff is like, that's why I can't get our likes up. I'm producing my heart out up here. Dr. T, do you have any tea for the people?
I do not, except to say, I know I'm getting older. I wasn't here last week because I have been fasting, and I gradually worked into some things, but I thought I was fully ready to indulge in all of my pre-fast indulgences, and I wasn't. So last Tuesday started out great. It didn't end so great. I could barely type. I had to tell my brothers that I could not make it to the neighborhood. I could barely type the message. It was not a good look. I thank God for the other Dr. T for holding down. I couldn't put the baby to bed. I couldn't do anything. So I'm just saying, if you were fasting, or if you're going to be fasting for Lent, just know you got to be gradual as you just dip the toe back into the grease and cheese and whatnot. And some stuff I've just determined I probably have gotten to the age where my body's like, we function much better without this particular item.
Welcome.
So you should probably not eat it ever. And I hate to say it, but I was always one of those borderline black lactose people.
Right.
I think it's getting to full on intolerance.
Hey, man.
I think it's happening, and I'm embracing it. You know, there's a mango almond yogurt at Trader Joe's, and I'm getting my life together. But that's just my PSA to the neighborhood. Don't let the post-fast meal take you out.
I have questions. And I don't know how far you're willing to delve with us here. Let's break it down just step by step. I got so many questions.
Chris is wrong. It was not alcohol. No, I did not have a hangover.
Hey, he ain't lying.
Son of a gun. So I got questions.
He is lying.
I got questions. It's along this line. So, can we talk about what the fast consisted of? What were you using for nourishment during the fast?
I started off doing basically vegan.
Oh, so you went hardcore.
Okay, so it was.
But then added in some things. So I wasn't doing like a prescribed. I wasn't doing a Daniel fast or anything like that. I was just like, I wanted to start the year off fresh.
Okay.
Like a cleanse, if you will.
Right.
So I gradually has started adding things back in. I'm trying to think of what I had last Tuesday. Whatever I had.
I'm about to say.
I can't even remember.
Yes, you know. You know what it was.
No, I seriously don't remember. I'm trying to think. Is it the same thing I ate today? But I think the element of it was the dairy. It's the cheese. I think I can't do cheese anymore.
Okay.
Which hurts my feelings, but it is what it is.
Because that's my honest question. I need to know what it was.
Chris.
I need to know what it was.
Can we cancel him out of
just telling all your business?
I know.
What I can't for some reason my
so you weren't doing one of those like nothing, you can't eat nothing until 4 o'clock.
No. I was eating. I just was narrowing.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay. Well, I think this is an important point. And we discussed it privately, you and I. You got to ease back into that thing slowly. Because I knew what happened. As soon as you said it, like, oh yeah, you came back in too fast. You can't
came in hot.
You came in hot. Yep.
And it came out hot. Used to matter.
Yep.
And now it matters.
Now you're welcome to being old.
Hey.
Now it matters. So I'm that age.
Yep. Welcome. And I think you should just embrace it.
I am.
Just know where you are and whose you are, and
that's right.
Really
whose you are.
That's right.
You are a child of lactose intolerance.
It was good while it lasted, most of the time.
Right.
But this is where I leave you.
I'd like to thank Derek James for his knowledge.
I'm not doing that. I'm not doing that.
Hey, if you. I tell you
that's a whole other level of I'm not taking a medication to be able to eat something. I just won't eat it.
I tell you, chewable.
The last time I had creamery ice cream, it sent me to a very bad place.
I haven't had that. And
it sent me to a very pandemic. It sent me to a very bad. This was years ago. It sent me to a very bad place in public. And I had to scramble to a facility, and I was in a meeting with the president of my organization where I work.
Oh, because they love to serve the creamery.
And I left, and I had to go to, and I was in there for 15 minutes. I mean, I'm in tie and suit.
You're sweating at this point. You need a new shirt.
And I felt it coming, and I was trying to hold on. I said, nope, gotta go. Because what was happening was we were standing up, and it was something was happening, and they were singing a song, and we were all standing, and I don't know what, but I had to dip. I had to go. and I missed a lot of the rest of that program because, yeah,
And never again, right?
I haven't. I may have it occasionally as in a milkshake, but like straight ice cream from the creamery, I can't do it no more. It's too the fat content's too high. And it just it's not good. But just a little knowledge for you. I'm done. Sorry, brother.
It's all good. It's all good. Had to get it out. Had to,
literally. It was coming one way or another.
All right. I want to thank all the neighbors for hanging with us tonight. We do this show every Tuesday at 9 p.m. Eastern right here on Facebook and YouTube. We appreciate all of you that hung with us live. Thank you so much for your comments. And just bringing the flavor. We appreciate it, neighbors. If you can't watch live, that's okay. Shout out to all the neighbors that watch on demand. You can go to turntoyourneighbor.com for all the different ways to watch the show on demand. Links to the Turn to Neighbor podcast. You can get wherever you get your podcast from, Spotify, Google Play, wherever. And, we appreciate those of you that hang with us every week because the neighbors, you make this show what it is. And we love y'all for it.
Most definitely.
All right, y'all good?
I'm good.
All right, neighbors. Until next time, take care. Be blessed. Peace.